Hey, what's going on YouTube? It is Thursday night, and usually I start streaming in a couple of hours, but I wanted to work on something else after having some conversations about just some of the content that's been going on, in particular Clash of Wills, which has been, I would say, really contentious for this season, just for lots of reasons. And I've been starting to work on my score a little bit just to try and raise my rank a little bit. Spoiler alert, what you're seeing on screen right now is not my rank. I am not rank 1 yet. But I'm joined today on this video by somebody who is, and that is Fabz. And I'm going to let Fabz introduce himself in just a second. But just to tell you a little bit where I know Fabz from, I talk with Fabz in a couple different places, a couple different Facebook groups, including one that I'm not in, which is FFBE Indomitable Warriors, I believe is what you guys call it. And I'm not in that one,
Correct.
but that's kind of where you guys spend a lot of your time there, and you share a lot of really great stuff in the main Facebook global group, as well as Global Nation. So I wanted to have you on to talk about this because we were talking about tanking dangerous turns in this fight to try and like build a team that would be more survivable for me. And you had some really important, really cool insights that I thought would be neat to share. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and say hello, and then we'll talk a little bit about your clear here.
All right. Hey, everybody. Obviously, it's he introduced himself as he introduced me. My bad. I'm Fabz. You probably see me if you're in Global Nation, the main FFB Global, like he said. I tend to post a lot of videos trying to just share things that I think might be generally useful, not necessarily budget, but not always the over the top flashy stuff. So that's kind of my thing here. And as he said, we were discussing the current cow and all of its issues, and of course, one of the main topics came up about tanking it. And I like to see these kind of interesting things played out. So we kind of worked through how this could possibly be tanked if you want to go that route. So I recorded a screen share of doing this without the element mod because that's that's a separate discussion.
Yes.
And and that's what we're going to be looking at here is just me playing through it,
Okay.
and then I'll be discussing the things I did.
Good deal. And I'm going to be taking notes because I, like I said, have not done rank 1 yet. Just like, lots and lots of players. In fact, I'm in the 700s right now, and it's time for me to really work on my score so I can stay within 1000. But I'm really excited to see, what you've got here, because what you were talking about in the global chat when we were talking earlier, it sounds really exciting. And so I'm looking forward to it. So I'm going to go ahead and start our video here. And we'll just take a look. So just real quick, you are turning on 305% mods. Oh, and I'm gonna scroll back a little bit just to show your team too.
When I recorded this was just kind of just me recording, playing through it. I didn't expect to actually have a conversation going over it, in person. So I'm kind of just blazing through this so I can keep the time short.
Yeah,
because recording a longer video is a bigger file size.
for sure.
So I'm speeding through this as reasonably as I can while still keeping track of things. So
yeah. So you've got 305% mods, 13 out of 16 required EX skills or stars. And you've got, or no, it's 13 out of 17 that you've got available to you. And looks like you've got Elisparis, Elena, Ibarra, Ayabrea, Lilith, and Melissa on your team.
Correct.
And
I left off the 75% HP because I hadn't tried to actually get a clear with this team, and I just wasn't confident that I could actually pull off a win with this damage.
okay,
So I left that off just to see if I can get through it.
so this is less of a guide and more just like commentary on tanking then.
I mean, it can be both. I can explain how to get through it if you happen to have this setup. It
Okay.
could probably work. Again, I haven't tried it with full, everything except the element mod, but
Okay.
I did plenty of damage when I did my burst turn, so it seems like it could be feasible.
Okay.
I just made some mistakes and got frustrated and just quit, so that's where it stops.
But the first thing that does stand out to me is that we do have Elena as a leader. I'm gonna go ahead and make a note of that. And we do have Lilith as our tank.
Actually, they're both going to be pulling tank duty.
Oh,
here.
okay. Both tanks. Okay. Lilith and Elena tanking. I like it. We're double tanking
That's the beauty of bringing in two Omni covers.
There. Oh, good point. Good point. Okay. Okay, cool. So let's see what happens here on because I think turn 1 is like one of those most dangerous turns, right?
Yeah, so turn one is one of the problematic ones, and that's because, as everyone understandably noticed, that it does a ton of physical damage, and there's pretty much nothing you could do about it until you look into Omni covering, and
Okay,
that's where Lilith comes in.
let's take a look.
So, do you want me to just try to explain moves as each character is being picked, or you want to let things play out and get all
Well, yeah, we'll start with whoever you go first. We'll just pause real quick on looks like first you're going with Ellisparis.
Okay, so here, since I'm not playing with the element mods, I don't have to worry about her being inactive on any turns.
Mm-hmm.
So off the bat, I'm using her big morale skill, the one you can enhance,
Okay.
and then I'm doing the auto cast for the Dark Imperil and the auto cast for the 85% full break.
Okay.
I like that. I like that because if I ever forget to do anything on any turn, she's guaranteed to give me my full break regardless. So I
Okay.
don't have to worry about having Atlanta make sure she covers that.
You've at least got the 85% break going.
Correct.
Very good. And then who's next? Let's see here. Looks like Ibarra. Looks like you did Darkra and her prayer, the vengeful prayer, and then something else.
Ibarra starts out as my Dark Imbue to make sure I'm
Oh,
hitting it with
perfect.
the elements that they suggest we do.
Yeah.
And then I used her stat buffs and LB damage up because that has
Yeah.
morale. So
Oh, yeah, Wish for Vengeance.
morale
Yeah,
for the first turn.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the other one was the Bolt and Strike skill that gives you 2 stacks of Mirage.
Oh, Mirage.
In here, the weaker skill hits first, so it doesn't really make much of a difference, but it's just a habit.
Yeah, I got you.
Plus, it gets that dark hit in case I forget.
That's all. Yes, I like that you're building that contingency in.
Yeah, I do a lot of this stuff where I try to make sure I do this so that in case I forget to do that, I'm covered.
Okay. Then it looked like with Melissa, you went for immunity buffs, and then there was the Minutes of Might and the other one. I think that's Chronic Flow.
Yeah, immunity buffs because as you see, we have the ailment imperil still, regardless of whether or not you use the mod. So even if you equip 100 and you have this imperil, you're still at 0. So you have to have an immunity buff regardless.
Okay.
Melissa's covering that, and then the rest is just from around.
And then Lilith is physical cover, Shroud of Spirits, and healing, it looked like.
Yep. So the physical cover, it gives her 50% physical mitigation. Also, it'll have her cover up in case you need it for later.
Mm-hmm.
And then the shroud is the omni cover, which is crucial for this part here.
That's the 90% physical magical, right?
Correct.
Okay. And then cover, and then sanctuary, and with this light, I'll protect you. That's going to give demon and human killer or mitigation, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So I have her do her cover now because I'm going to need to set it's all set up for later. So she's doing her cover now to get ready for later. And she's doing the type mitigation, as you said, to help Lilith survive.
Perfect. And then Aya, who I have an EX2 Aya, but I've never actually used her for anything yet. In fact, she's only like level 16.
Oh man, you're missing out.
I was locked out for a week, man.
Oh, I forget.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. But so you're gonna have to tell me what skills she's using because I don't know what her skills are yet.
Okay, so the interesting thing about Aya Brea's first form, if that's how you say her name,
Yeah.
it does a lot of support stuff. So if you look at her LB, which we don't need to do here, I'm just explaining it. Her LB is actually a pretty good finisher in and of itself. It's Earthlock. But when you look at her kit, a lot of it is some pretty good support stuff. So in Clash, her cooldowns give morale. As everybody knows now, she can do 5 stacks of Mirage. She can heal. She can do re-raise. She does a lot in her base form. And that's why a lot of her stuff gives spirits.
Okay. So let's go ahead and see how these. Well, let's just to kind of make sure we're on the same page as far as what we have going for us going into turn 1 for Lilith, because Lilith's going to be taking that physical hit, right?
Correct. She's Omni covering.
So Lilith has Omni, and with that, she's going to have 50% general mit, right?
No, 50% physical.
50% physical. And then she's also got the 90% from
That's general,
that's
correct.
general, 90% general.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, just stat buffs and things like that.
Yeah.
She's also
Another thing
got
she'll see is
human and demon racial, right?
80% human. Yeah, 80% human and demon. But another thing to remember with cover, you get cover mitigation,
Right. So you've
and
got
that's
cover
at
mid as
75.
well at
Right.
75%. Okay. And how much was the human demon?
I believe it's 80.
80%. Okay. That sounds right. So let's see. And you currently have 57,615 health. So
Yeah, because this is her. I'm running this offense build. If you want to build her just as a tank, I mean, as we saw before, she can get crazy tank numbers, but this is actually an offense build.
often offensive build. Okay. Let's see how this turn plays out.
I never actually explained what Aya was doing here.
Oh,
You asked
sorry,
me
my
about her,
bad.
and I just went to like a general thing. No, I
Yeah.
just remembered I never told you exactly what she's doing.
Yes, go ahead.
I did not watch the actions.
Oh,
but
good.
I believe she was just giving morale. So I probably had her use her cooldowns.
Okay.
She has a cooldown that cures ailments and prevents them. Kind of like Sylvie.
I know you
And
used haste. I saw you use haste, which that does her like cooldown reductions. You kind of use that to kind of keep her all of her stuff ready, right?
Also, if I know myself, yeah, if I use haste, I use all 3 cooldowns.
Yeah. Okay.
So the cooldowns were just for morale, but just telling you what they do. One can block ailments. One is kind of like wishful vengeance, and it cures imperils. It's one of those things: remove summon, enfeeblement, stop charm, berserk.
Okay.
And then haste gives 5 stacks of mirage to everyone, and
Yes.
it reduces her cooldowns by 1.
Now, just for people who don't know, 2 stacks from Ibarra does not stack with 5 stacks from Aya. It just becomes 5 stacks.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, for the purpose of demonstrating this, it really wouldn't have mattered. If you really want to just show off Lilith here, I should have done Ibarra last. But if you want to keep your stacks of Mirage up, yeah, you need to do Ayabrea last.
Okay.
Or after Ibarra, at least.
Okay. Very good. Very good. So now we'll see how this turn plays out. Full health. You do have an HP barrier now, too. That's worth noting as well. Lilith jumps out in front. And you didn't even take half your health.
Exactly. So her preemptive is the Rondo 3, as I've been calling it, just Rondo Passion 3. I just say Rondo 3. That's when she does the 50% attack and magic buff. So this one isn't near as bad as later. Later is when it gets to be a problem.
Okay.
But in this first turn, Lilith just eats it up. It's no big deal.
So yeah, I mean, that's definitely not what I've heard about this fight with the mods turned on.
Yeah, and honestly, when you build your parties, you expect that only one tank would be needed because that's generally how the game is kind of built. But if you really just want to, if you happen to pull Lilith last year, you can bring Lilith and tank it, as people would say, tank it normally.
Yeah,
it's just tedious in a way.
So yeah, with her now Aya also reduces the cooldowns of everything. So doesn't that mean that Lilith's Omnicover will come back and become available for us again?
Well, Lilith's Omnicover is only a 5-turn cooldown, so if you need it on every 5th turn, she would have it regardless.
Oh.
I think Ayabrea's thing only reduces her own cooldowns.
Okay. She's not time maging the party. It's just her.
Yeah, it's just for the caster. Cooldown reduction 1 turn.
Okay. Wow. Well, that certainly I think changes some things. But let's see what happens here on turn 2. And she's healing herself back up. Fantastic.
Exactly. So unfortunately, I think this is specifically required these 2. But hey, at least it's something different.
Yeah, lots of LBs going off here. And LBs for Lilith is where she's going to get her mitigation, right?
Yeah, this is where she gets her 70% physical mitigation.
Okay.
Ellis Peppers, she's only doing it because I want to set the field now. Because it's a 10-turn field, I want it available for later.
Perfect. And you're putting up Human Killer and filling morale. Lots of morale.
That's all it is. It's just a bunch of morale.
And Elena's going to be giving party mitigation too, right?
Well, yes, but this is mostly for her to give herself the magical mitigation at 75%.
Yes.
And Actually, I think that's all it does here. I did it for the mitigations too, but I don't think I really need them now that I'm thinking about it.
Okay.
So she could probably get away with just a Shelga at this point.
Okay. Let's see how it plays out. Morale's looking pretty good. You're already at like, that's got to be in the 60s.
Yeah, I think it ends at 54. I honestly don't know. I'm just guessing.
57. There you go.
Yeah.
And this time Elena's tanking. Lots of magic this turn, and she does fine.
Yep. At this point, we're still at 50% attack and magic, so it's still bearable.
Okay. Wow. I mean, so far it's looking pretty good. Okay,
So
SLB.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, you go for it.
So now here I'm firing off Lilith's SLB because I want to burst on turn 6 anyway. So that's when it would be back up and it would be a free LB fill. But also I want to get the SLB out of the way because it does not do physical mitigation. So I want it out of the way so I can get her regular LB ready for later.
Right, because that whole thing of like you're forced to use the SLB when it's available. Got it.
Correct.
Got it. Okay. And then it looks like we're getting Mirage stacks and just some LB fill. And then cooldown reduction, cover, LB fill.
So there I was checking just to make sure because Ellis Ferris, her normal attack is a perfect dispel.
Okay.
So sometimes I lose track of what I'm doing, and I'll check her to make sure she doesn't have defensive spirit buffs. So if Ellis Ferris is free, I'll just try to remember to have her normal attack to get rid of those.
Okay.
So that's what you saw me doing there.
Heal 1. Does that heal 1, does that fill morale? Is that why you're doing it?
Yep, 200 each cast.
Nice. And it looks like you are going to use that dispel.
I might. She could have just guarded. It would have been the same thing for these purposes here.
Yeah, yeah.
So we went over what Elena was doing. Here, I'm having Elena Omni cover.
Right.
I can't remember if we said that.
Okay. I didn't notice that. Let's go back though. Just to show what you exactly what you did.
Rambling on and we glossed over it.
It's okay. Hey, you know we're having fun talking about this. Here it is. Here's her turn. So she does cover first, then Omni cover, and then Barblizega. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so that's just to help with Lilith's LB fill that I was talking about for later.
Right. So, and for anyone who doesn't realize why you're doing that, so he used Lilith first and then used Ibarra and Elena because those skills fill LB. That way you can refill the gauge.
Correct.
Boss heals because the boss is awesome. Ooh, okay, rough turn for Elena, but she's okay.
Now, to be fair, without Ibarra's Mirage, Elena might not have made it.
Right.
But point is, she was able to tank it, and here we are.
Okay. And so turn 4, I'm guessing you're doing dark, so I'm guessing you're probably going to set up with Melissa here.
There you go.
All right. Mitigation, prepping with Ibarra's Limit Burst, redoing her cover. Yep, all normal stuff. Oh, Aya's Shift Form.
Yeah, sometimes I'll start doing action and I'll say, oh, I forgot the shit. That's when you see that right there.
Yep. I don't have Ellis Ferris either, so this is neat to see like how you use her as well.
So there's Zero Transfusion. That's her normal attack, which perfectly dispels. So when I was going through her kit, I remembered, oh, this is turn 4. I need to do that.
Okay. Good deal. And so, yeah, we're doing, looks like Abyssal Blessing. That's the AoE imbue. And then Big Killer. Nope. Maybe
like you'll see he's doing a lot of backtracking.
He's not sure. Yep, doing that LB fill. I like it. You got one more turn for the Big Killer anyway.
Right. And that's exactly what happened. I realized, oh, it's only turn 4. I shouldn't even.
Yeah.
Because Elena needs 2 at this point.
So turn 4, I've only gone up to turn 6. Is turn 4 physical or magical?
Turn 4 is free.
Oh, that's right. It's free. The boss's buffs.
Yep.
And does like morale fill and stuff. Okay, cool.
Yep. So now here, when I was playing through initially, I was getting rid of I was perfect dispelling because I wanted to get rid of the defensive spirit buffs.
Uh-huh.
But if you want to survive turn 5 without having to do anything wild or requiring Iabrea, this is where you actually want to leave her buffs on.
Why is that?
Because here we're going to take advantage of her Earth Imbue.
Mm.
So I didn't show the gear, but if you check the party, or if I'll show you the party, everyone has at least -50 Earth resist. The mod sets you at -100 by default, so you only need to equip 50.
Okay.
So the party comes in with -50, and the morale skill at the top of the bar there will give you 150 Earth.
Okay, so that just puts you right at 0, right?
No,
Or no, right at 100. So then you're fine.
Correct. So the only thing you really have to do yourself is get rid of the imperil that she puts on you, because she puts on a 200% Earth imperil.
Okay, and
So
you clear that
Go ahead.
with remedial will, or how do you clear that?
No, Iabrea.
Oh, perfect,
So
perfect. Yeah.
there's actually 2 sources here. You can have Melissa do it with, I guess you said remedial will is what it is.
Well, the remedial will is the morale skill at the top that wipes
Oh,
everything.
No, Melissa's is something else, but you have that. It's the Magnus with 3 charges.
Oh, okay.
And then Iabrea, her cooldown, I think, is Gene Hill.
Okay.
So get rid of the negative stuff from the party.
Okay. I saw you just checked your Earth resist.
There you go. That's actually to show it. So what order did I do things here? Okay, so you haven't used Elisferis. She has a 90% full break in morale fights.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm doing that, and then she has a 40% all weapon imperil and a 50% katana imperil.
Okay.
So I'm doing the full break, the weapon imperil, and then I'm probably just going to end up chaining here because she has nothing better to do.
Right, and you said you're bursting on turn 6, so we're just getting all the good stuff going.
Correct. So now, normally here, I would have Elena do that. The cooldown where she buffs her LB mod, it's Grace of something, I think.
Yeah.
But that has a perfect dispel. And remember, we want the boss to keep her Earth Imbue.
Okay.
Unfortunately, you lose out on a tiny bit of damage.
Yeah, so we're focusing more on Elena's support rather than her damage.
Correct. So now, I mean, she's here for damage now, but you really don't want to dispel the boss on this turn.
Absolutely
so
not.
we have to skip that LB mod this turn.
Okay.
So that turn, she put up the field for the stats, 100% stats on your side, and then just helped fill her LB.
And Ibarra, now you kind of, you didn't use the Magnus, or did you use the Magnus?
I did in this case. In other runs, I was able to do plenty of damage without it, but I wanted to break 50 on this turn, and I wasn't able to do that without the Magnus.
Now,
so just for this showcase, I used it.
Yeah, so wouldn't you normally want to use the Magnus last, though?
No, just for extra chip damage, I use the Magnus first.
Okay.
So that Demonic Cleave will get just a hair extra damage.
Okay.
And then the cooldown will still get restored.
Okay, I get it. Because the amp lasts for 2 turns, but the magic store only lasts for 1 action. So you're using Tsukiyo to fill up boost up cleave, and then you're using the cooldown to prepare for the burst.
Correct.
I get it. Okay.
So that's what we're doing here. I'm going to start with the Magnus and then the action that we just described. And then Melissa is just getting ready for the next turn.
Now, you said that you've got your Lilith geared for offense.
Correct.
So I'm gonna guess maybe. You can use an LB here. Okay.
Yeah. So turn 5, I want to use her LB, so that well, it ends up not really mattering here. But turn 5, I wanted to use her LB, so that turn 6, she would have physical mitigation. But in this case, it doesn't apply really.
Okay. See, I was thinking maybe you might squeeze a Tyva's Spirit in there.
No, well, it shouldn't work for her, should it?
Oh yeah, Tyva's Spirit does work for her. Same way it works for Chizuru.
Oh, you're right. Now I'm thinking about it.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right.
The one that doesn't work is the Eject STMR, but Tyva's Spirit does.
Yep.
Okay.
You're 100% correct. I honestly never considered that.
Yeah. One of my viewers, Horatio, he's always reminding me that I need to put that on there if I have it. But you don't always have room for it because her killers are hard to spec for. So.
And that's what I was gonna say. Now, honestly, I'm not sure I could have fit it because I believe her materia slots are all killers, so I probably wouldn't have been able to make it work anyway. But it is interesting to remember.
Cool deal. Let's see what happens here.
Oh, Aya Brea, you didn't see it, but I had used her cooldown, the Gene Heal, to get rid of the imperils on the party. So that's
Perfect.
what she's doing.
So, and that Gene Heal, is that in the shift form only, or is that in both forms?
No, that's in base form.
Base
So
form.
this turn you might not have noticed it, but I went back to base
Okay.
because she has a true shift.
Okay. Yes. Yes. Great.
So I'll probably be emphasizing that. I should have.
You're like hesitating. You're like not sure what's gonna happen. There we go.
Man, you know how many times I restarted videos because I kept forgetting to either clear the imperils or use the morale skills. So now I'm paranoid.
Yeah.
So that was me showing Ibarra's resistance. You know, use the morale skill, use Iabrea, and then I'll show you there that now Ibarra is fully in.
And you're gonna land at 12%.
Yep.
Now that was crazy. You took no damage.
Everything she's doing that turn is Earth.
Oh,
So
that's
long as you
Earth.
leave her-
It's all Earth physical. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Good
So
call.
long as you leave her Earth imbue on, and your party's 100% resist, you're perfectly fine.
Okay. Yeah. No mirage stacks needed. I like it. All right. Now this is your burst.
Yeah. So now the burst is done. So this is where when I saw that I did use Lilith, I never factored Lilith because I didn't think her damage would be enough.
Mm-hmm.
But after trying it and I saw the potential, I said, whoa, there might be something to this. So now I have figured out a little something, and this is going to be the burst turn showing that it's actually feasible to do.
Okay. SLB. This will be her LB, right? Yep. Mm-hmm. SLB. All the LBs.
I would say we're firing off all the LBs except for Melissa's, and if she didn't have anything more important to do, she'd be firing hers off too.
And she's going to do seconds of support on, who did you use that on?
On Ibarra.
Ibarra, okay.
I don't run calcs on everybody and everything before the fight, so I just assumed Ibarra's going to be hitting the hardest, so I gave her the seconds of support.
Okay, good deal. And don't spoil it. I want to see your damage.
Okay, no problem.
You can using the stat buffs. Yep.
Yeah, I don't have Dwayne here, so I had to turn to the morale bar.
Okay, so you overcapped by 700 million. Pretty good.
Yep, my best roll for this was 6-2.
Okay. Wow. That's impressive. Now, did you all? I might have missed it. Did you also at some point use the thing that makes the boss heal less from Melissa, or did we do that later?
No, I don't bother with that until after turn 9.
Okay.
Because you burst here, she's going to heal anyway, and if you want to do damage on turn 9, it's going to be irrelevant, so you don't need to cast that thing on turn 8 either.
Okay.
So starting on turn 13 is where it matters.
Okay.
Well, for me, is where it matters.
So I'm going to take a quick pause here and go back to our notes. So we know turn 1 is really deadly, and we had a lot of, important big stuff going. Turn 5 should be really deadly, but you handled that with Earth Imbue, right?
Yeah, all you do is leave her Earth Imbue on and make sure your party is 100% resistant to Earth.
Okay. Now, is turn 6 bad too?
Normally it would be, but since I'm bursting here, I had to do the cheesy stuff that's part of the concern, and I had to use the Dark Imbue.
Okay.
So that everybody, she's Dark Imbued and everybody absorbs it.
Okay.
However, if you weren't, if you didn't need to do damage on this turn, you would just go back to turn 1 and Lilith would be omnicovering again.
Okay. So you imbued her with Melissa then?
Yes. Turn 6, I imbued with Melissa in part of that.
Okay.
That setup.
Okay. So yeah, she heals back up, which is super fun for everybody who doesn't have any of the healing reduction units. And Lilith is just totally ignoring it because she is resistant to dark.
Even if you did have this stuff, that's still going to be a 50% heal.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun no matter how you cut it.
Yeah, it really is. Like I'll be honest, like that is one of my least favorite mechanics that they have introduced in the last year. Is the bosses doing that ridiculous amount of healing? Just because at this point, yes, you have Aya and you have Melissa and you have Elisperis all in the same party at the same time. But like if you ignore Aya because she's not fully available, there's only 2 units who do that, and you've got them both. Right. So I'm happy for you. I don't have Elisperis, so like On the one hand, I'm already looking at this going, well, I can't quite recreate this, but I can definitely do the rest of it. So I would just have
And like I
to.
said, even then, having all of them accessible to me doesn't really matter because to get it done in the time you need to, you only really need to cast it twice.
Hmm.
So having three people who could do it and one of them could do it 3 or 4 times, I mean,
Yeah.
uh, I'm not going to try to complain too much. Goomy's already heard enough.
They have definitely, whether or not they have addressed or responded to those concerns is a different issue. But here we go. So here's turn 7, and we're gonna. I think. So you said that we're kind of start back over on turn 6, like with Lilith going into Omni cover normally. Um, does the fight kind of pick over or start back over there? Like is like on a rotation,
Yeah, a 5-turn rotation.
5-turn rotation. So really, our next really bad turn should be turn 10, right?
Um, well, yes, but it's tough to go through all. Like I said, when I do these things, my brain's all over the place, so nothing's ever very structured.
Okay.
So starting at this point, well, starting at turn 3, she's under a 150% buff at all times if you're hitting her with the elements you're supposed to.
Right.
So now basically turns 1, 2, and 3 of the rotation are all potentially lethal because somebody's taking damage somewhere.
So we'll watch. This would be turn 2 of the rotation. So we'll watch turns. We'll go ahead and watch turns 7 and 8, and then I think we'll jump ahead a little bit. So is
Yep.
that okay with you?
Yep.
Okay. So here's turn 7.
So now we're fresh off of a burst, and now trying to think, okay, how do I make sure my party lives? Because I don't want to get anything out of order.
Right.
So now here, all those times I'm casting Elena's cover where it seems like for no reason, I'm preemptively having her guard ready, or having her cover ready so I can guard people.
Okay. I like that.
So it seems like I'm spamming cover just to do it, but I have reasons, I swear.
I mean, I usually do it for morale fill and stat buffs and stuff. So I hear you.
Yeah. So now here, this is where I tell you I'm always trying to think ahead in what I'm doing. I'm trying to remember when I need to cast her killers, and I don't want to accidentally throw that off. So I'm trying to remember I can't do her killers until turn 8, so I need to just occupy my space with something else.
Okay. Yeah. Doing the reserving Ellisparis for the end thing, I see.
Yeah, with her, like I said, she doesn't have a whole lot that I need her to do because she's auto-casting half of it. So I'm constantly trying to think, do I need to dispel or, is this time to try to get her LB? I think way too much in these, man.
I know what you mean. I have been known to make things a little more complicated than I need to.
Oh, that's my bread and butter, man.
All right, looks like we're doing just some kind of normal stuff. Kind of biding out our time for the next time we try and kill her.
Yep. So now here, the main thing is just to have the Lena guard because, like I said, we're under 100.
Oh yeah.
At all times now. So if she doesn't guard, she's dead.
That guard, yeah, that was definitely a clutch guard.
Tankable.
Yeah, tankable for sure because you've got the attack and magic mod on.
Yep.
And nobody has died yet. That's just really it's kind of it's surprising to me. Now, obviously, if we were dealing with all of the nonsense with the ailment mod, right, where people are like strategically letting their party members die and things like that would be a lot harder to juggle all these buffs.
Now with that, I'm not sure I could come up with a tank strategy because I personally just don't think it's worth a headache.
Yeah.
But, like when Uru shared rank 1, before he did that, I was just thinking, it's impossible, and if it is possible, it's not worth the effort. And then when he did it, and I saw what it took, I was immediately frustrated because I don't like re-raise spam strategies.
Yeah.
So anytime re-raise or absolutely avoiding damage is required to get through stuff, it grinds my gears. But when I saw he did it, I had to give him props because there's no way I would have bothered with it.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're gonna take a look at turn 8 here, and then I think we're gonna jump ahead a little bit because I think for the rest of the fight, I mean, you're pretty much just loading up your lining up your bursts, right?
Generally,
Yeah.
for the sake of just covering this topic, turn 9 will be free, so there's nothing really concerned there. And turn 10 will be just like turn 5. We're just gonna be Earth immune and absorb it all or resist it all.
Okay. Good deal.
So from here, you could jump to 11 probably, and that's just to show tanking with the 150% mods on.
Okay, let's
150%
do
buff.
that. Let's go ahead and jump to 11.
Well, turn 8 was important because that's also a pretty heavy turn there.
Okay, turn 8 it is.
Yeah, sorry.
No,
Wait,
that's all good.
No, that was 7 we watched. Yeah. So turn 8 is another one of the turns where you're gonna have to take damage no matter what you do.
Okay.
So this is where the idea was you could have a magic tank, but you would need someone to barrage the physicals. Now before I was actually doing that, having Elena cover magic and then having a Lilith tank the physicals, but that still took it brought us 2 stacks of Mirage, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And it took Lilith guarding, and I didn't think that lent well to the point. So I started having Elena Omni cover, and that ended up being much safer.
Okay.
So just like turn 3, Elena's gonna Omni cover.
Nice. We're back in the base form with Aya filling morale, looks like.
Well, I think she's at 0, so at this point it's mostly for health.
Yeah, you got your killers going on Ibarra with 2 stacks of Mirage, cover, Omni cover, and Sanctuary for mitigations.
So here, if I know myself, I'm thinking I was about to reduce her cooldowns, but I see Lilith doesn't have her LB, and I need that physical mitigation.
Yes.
So at this point, I should be trying to figure out how to get Lilith's LB full, which could probably be done with a bar if I haven't queued it up yet. Oh, Iabrea, yeah.
Yeah.
Her heal also kills LB.
Very good. So that heal skill is really, really good.
Iabrea is crazy. I like what they did with her.
I'm excited to start messing with her now that mine's EX2. That's pretty cool.
She's well worth it, man.
All right, so turn 8, and looks like Elena should jump out in front.
Right.
And that was pretty minimal. So just to make sure, we're just documenting it, right? So turn 8 was Elena Omni cover, and she had all the good mitts.
That's a good way to put it.
All the good mitts. She had the racial, she had the Omni cover, she had her own, personal stuff. So she had pretty much everything she needed going.
Yeah, so the main thing there is to make sure that Lilith gets her 75 or 70% physical up.
Okay.
It looks like she probably could have survived it anyway with 50, but better safe than sorry.
Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and make sure Lilith used LB for physical. There we go. Cool. So you said 9 is free, 10 is the Earth Imbue. We're gonna just we're just gonna say turn 10 too, right? Leave the Earth Imbue on, and we'll jump ahead to turn 11. Here's turn 10. And turn 11.
Oh, I'm not sure why I'm dipping into the morale skills, but it's turn 10. I was getting that Earth Imbue or Earth buff.
Yes. There you go. Turn 10, taking no damage because of the Earth Imbue.
Turn 11, we're starting to get a little spicy.
Okay.
Because now this is the first time we're taking the big physicals, and she has the 150% buffs.
So this is where it gets real.
Yeah, this is where it's dangerous for Lilith now. I guess I kind of spoiled it a little bit. This is where Lilith is going to be tanking the physicals. There's no way Atlanta's going to happen.
And I'm guessing we're going to burst again on turn 12?
Yep. Every multiple of 3, I'm trying to figure out if I can get a burst in.
Okay. I'm just guessing that because Lilith's not going to have her SLB this turn, because she's going to get it next turn. That's kind of where I figure you're trying to make it land.
Yeah.
And Shroud of Spirits, there you go. So we're Omni covering with Lilith this time.
Correct. Yeah, I have a lot going on in my mind, man. I don't do turn charts,
yeah.
So I'm constantly having to try to remember what I did. So one of the things that's in mind is every multiple of 3, I'm trying to figure out if I could work in a burst.
Yeah, I like that. I only just like in the past year and a half became a turn chart person. As I've been doing more Clash of Wills stuff. So yeah, it's a lot to keep track of.
Yeah, it's much better for you, from times like this when you want to go through it later.
Yeah.
but I just never got in the habit of doing it. Now this is the first turn it gets done for a little Lilith.
Yeah. Let's take a look. Ooh. So you took, that looks about 7/8 of your HP. Pretty gnarly.
To be fair, she had a barrier from somebody.
Oh, true.
I believe it would be Elena.
Yeah.
I think it's 16k.
Uh-huh.
So without the barrier, sure, she probably would have died. But point is, she's alive.
Yeah, she made it though, with all the mitts, right? So she had her physical mitt, she had Elena's racials, and she had Omni cover, and she's got cover mitt.
Yep.
And she's healing us back up a little bit.
It's also giving morale if you happen to be a little short.
Yes, which is, and now you're going to be at 0 morale. Last burst, I think you bursted at 12%. Which,
yeah, but now we don't have that.
You don't have the big.
Yeah. We don't have the abyssal, so I don't think I did it anyway.
Still though, so you went to 47 or 43% last time, I think, from 100.
Now here at this point, you could probably give seconds of support to Iabrea because everyone has the same dark amp anyway. But I don't know. Like I said, I didn't run numbers, so that's for your numbers people.
I think
who actually crunch them.
I think you did use Abyssal on this turn because it was grayed out when you were just scrolling over it.
Okay, so yeah, everyone definitely has the same dark amp. I mean, here I could probably go.
I would say if everybody has the same amp, I would use it on Aya because Aya's got the highest modifier of everybody on your team.
Yeah, because see, I don't know how much the store or focus, whatever we call it, I don't know how much that plays into it. I don't know about the difference between dark and using fire with the field. I didn't crunch all these numbers, so I'm just throwing the idea out there that maybe you could put seconds on Iabrea. It might be better for you.
Yep. Can we all make a motion to call that skill sloppy seconds?
Which one? Oh. Now here I am trying to keep things appropriate, and then you come out of nowhere.
All right, let's see how big this burst is.
What form was she in? Like I said, I restarted these videos so many times because of okay, no, that was a finisher. There was one time where I used her base form LB, and I was thinking it was a finisher, so I sent it late, and it was just a mess.
Still, 4.6 on your secondary burst is really good, considering we've got Lilith actually geared for physically tanking this fight.
No, yeah, true. But like I said, it's honestly more of a damage focus.
Oh, no, that's what I meant. We don't have her geared for just like pure 100% best in slot bulk, right? You've got her geared for being offensive is what I meant to say. I'm a goober.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, considering that, you're still, I mean, you're doing good damage on your burst there. Now, is she going to heal all this back up though?
If not, Iabrea's probably going to take care of it.
Okay.
Oh, this is where okay, so here Elena's not really contributing much to damage anyway.
I
should have had her guard.
Oh, okay. Yeah, good point.
Because following the rotation, this would have been the turn 2. Or as you got on this here, that's the same as turn 7. So for her to survive it, I should have had her guard because she's not contributing a lot to damage anyway.
Elena should have guarded. I like it.
Yeah, and that kind of throws a wrench into everything. Like I said, that's why I cut the video short because it just fell apart from there.
Yeah, so you can't really see it on the screen. We've got about 2 minutes and 32 seconds left of this video, and that's okay. This is not necessarily intended to be a guide for like pure start to finish. It's more of a discussion on tanking. So, are there any other really bad turns that we need to look at before we look at the gear? Like, did you show the gear in the video?
I doubt it because at this point I was probably frustrated and just hit the stop button.
That's okay. So what I'll have you do is when we're done recording this, I'll have you just send me screenshots of it, and I'll just pop them up and show people. If you don't mind, is that okay with you?
Yeah, I can start getting those together.
Cool. So yeah, are there any other turns that we definitely need to look at before because I mean it's on a rotation, right? So like from here you're just like preventing the healing, and timing your bursts again for another 3 turns on turn 15, right?
Pretty much. If you want, you can run through 13 because, like I said, everything fell apart.
Okay.
And then you can see how it kind of plays out even if it goes wrong.
Sure.
So here now, I see I messed up. And now I'm just all disoriented. You can keep playing it. I'm just talking through.
Okay.
It's not really relevant anymore. Because now I'm pretty much just giving up. All hope is dead.
I know how that is.
So now here I'm thinking, oh man, I'm so deep in this video. How can I bounce back? So I'm just trying to figure out how to keep everybody alive, trying to be ready for the next burst. So it just becomes a throwaway thing. I see my cooldowns are all thrown off because I wasn't planning on having Elena die, and now, as you see, I'm on a 4-turn cooldown. I can't do my type mitigations anymore.
Oh yeah, good point.
So now I know either Lilith has to cover this, or Elena's gonna die, and I don't think Lilith is.
She's not able to Omni cover, yeah.
Nope. So now I realize that, oh, this is a disaster. So she's gonna Omni cover anyway, just to try to see how it plays out.
Right. I would maybe throw a Shelga. Yep.
There you go.
I'm not bad at this game. Best case scenario, right?
Yep, so that was just like, okay, if there's any hope, it's got to be some Shelga. I got to use Lilith, and then I see her LB's low, so I can't use Lilith. Can't use second support because I just threw that on Ibarra. Like, at this point, I just realized Elena's going to die.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can speak through it, but I just want to show you, even though Elena dies, it still kind of pans out.
Yeah.
I hope my rambling isn't making the video too long, man.
No, don't worry about it. You're good. This is fantastic.
Okay.
I want to see what happens. Okay, a re-raise on Elena. I like it.
Yep, but I know she's going down, so I know she's gonna have to come back.
That good 3% damage there. And she got smoked, yeah. Hey, but she's back.
Yeah, so she actually lived long enough to end up eating the physicals.
Mm-hmm.
However, if she didn't, I believe it would have gone to Lilith.
It should have, yeah.
So Lilith then would have had to try to show her tanking prowess.
Yeah.
But either way, she tanked the magics, she died to the physicals, and then because whoever was targeted with the magic was immune to Earth, they were completely resistant, so the party was perfectly fine.
Yeah.
However, as you saw there, I don't know if you're paying attention, she ended up healing for 20%.
Yeah.
Because I forgot to do the HP recovery thing.
Yeah, because you were snazzled.
Yeah, I was so done with this at this point.
Yeah.
That's how I ended up quitting early.
That's okay.
But once you get through turn 11 and 12, 13, you kind of get the general.
Just kind of get the rotation going. So this is good. This is good. So for somebody like me, I'm really excited to see your builds for these characters, because I mean I'm not gonna be able to turn on the same number of mods unless I don't have Elaspera, so I can't copy this exactly. But like, well, maybe I could, because I don't need to have 15 EX levels. I only need 13.
So do you just want to see the tanking, like just the tanking setup, or all of it, or
I think people would probably like seeing all of it if you don't mind. But if that takes too much time, then the tanking for sure, because that's kind of the focus of this video. So, but the point is with the
you mean like the whole party?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Oh, let me switch phones.
I'm sure people would like seeing it. But the point is with the boss's offensive mods turned on, Lilith with the use of Omni cover, with Elena's use of Omni cover, we can tank the damage of this fight.
Yeah, and part of me is conflicted, because part of me says, hey, show this. Somebody might think it's cool and they could use it. And, I love to be able to get that out there. But then the other part is afraid that Gumi might look at it and say, see, look, this is perfectly fine. And then we get more of this later.
Define perfectly fine. So we're talking about a time limited. You cannot get this. There's only been 2 chances ever to get this unit, right? Time limited. So if you weren't using her, you could theoretically bring another person who has Omni cover, but you're not going to be getting all the other good stuff that Lilith has, and their Omni covers on a different rotation. So, like, let's say, for example, you brought Jekt, right?
Oh yeah, he has one.
Bad element, doesn't provide any morale support, not getting the benefits of leader skills. And his cooldown, or his Omni cover, is on a 6-turn cooldown instead of a 5. So you have to target him with Melissa to get him down to 5.
Yep.
And you're not getting those cooldown reductions on anybody else at that point. So, like,
Yep.
you could maybe, we don't have the numbers, we didn't run that, but are there other like, does Barrett have an Omni cover?
I know one of them does.
I just got my first Barrett today. I haven't done anything with him.
I
But
don't have the most recent one.
yeah, I think Avalanche's Barrett does have one. But I mean, not going to be as good as Lilith. So, like, C, you can do it with a time limited unit that nobody has access to unless they happen to have been playing the game a year ago or a half year ago when they reran her on like a weird like holiday banner. Hopefully you dropped your Lapis on that. Like, so arguably, like, not okay unless you just want to re-raise every time this happens. But that
No,
also,
I'm with you. It's not okay because I mean, as far as I could tell, again, didn't crunch any numbers. This would require both Elena and Lilith. I don't see who you could substitute because on top of all the things you already said, Lilith is contributing damage as well.
and healing.
All of that.
And she absorbs the dark. So on the times when that time you imbued the boss with dark, like, she was just dealing with that. So, like, yeah.
So yeah, I had this recording started already. This there's no way that if you didn't pull Lilith, I don't see how you could reasonably pull this off. And I brought that up because I don't think it's okay. I just don't want Gumi to say, "Well, he had you pulled on a Halloween banner," you know.
Now the absolute troll would be that this year for Halloween they don't put Lilith back in the pool, just like they didn't put Carton back in the pool last year. That would be the
Don't
ultimate
remind
troll,
me.
right?
While we didn't necessarily need Carton, just the fact that he wasn't available, it's like, come on, man, why not?
Yeah,
But then
like,
part of me is scared, like then they'll probably use them to cut rates.
I
I don't
I
want to assume the
never
worst is
I
going to
never
be. It's just
got
how I.
one, so I want one. Cool.
But at this point, it'd just be kind of a novelty because it's not
Yeah,
really doing much. But
exactly.
still be cool to have.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you doing two things here. One is just that you put the mind to work to figure out how to get these turns survivable with these two tanks. Two, that you took the time to record it for me, know it well enough to be able to even talk about it, and then to come on and talk about it with me, because I know how you feel. I'm going to embarrass you now. I know how you feel about speaking in front of people, and you're doing just fine. So I want you to make your own channel. I really do, where you can go over all these stuff with people, because while you share what you share in the various Facebook groups, like, if you're not in those groups, you just can't see it. So, like, I think you should do this all the time. Just saying.
Yeah, it came up a while back, like years ago, and initially it was only about just being socially uncomfortable with it. Thinking I'm not, basically, to put it bluntly, thinking I'm not good enough to be doing this. And then it eventually became all of the doom and gloom talk about end of service. Now, remind you, this is 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
The game is dying. There's no point. So in my mind, I'm thinking, well, if everybody's talking like this, then what's the point? Because if it dies, then I'm just wasting time.
Gotcha.
Now, 4 years later, here we are still playing. But
And
that was in my mind at the time.
4 years later, we're still playing, and there's still a need for people to. I mean, I get questions all the time. In fact, I just got questions today asking about something completely random, that somebody wanted me to make a video on. So I still get that, and I'm definitely not as good as you. I'm definitely not as good as
Ah,
other
man.
people making videos. I mean, like, I'm able to follow along and kind of predict where you're gonna go next, but, like, I definitely didn't figure this out. You did. And thank you for sharing it with me and with my community, and hopefully anybody else who picks this up. So,
Well, while I appreciate the compliment, man, it's not nothing like that between us.
I
I'm
got you.
not crazy, I'm not some kind of mystical genius about
Well,
this.
no, but
I just
you figured it out. You figured out a way to make it work. Now, and to do damage. And if you hadn't, flubbed it there, you probably would have kept on going with this team and gone all the way. So I think you would have had it from what I'm seeing here. So
yeah, it's just this is what I like to do. What I like about the game is trying to figure out different ways to get things done. And that's been one of my complaints about how the game has been going. It gets kind of restrictive when you have all of these requirements because it gives you less party flexibility. So
hmm
it kind of limits creativity.
yeah.
And that was how I got into dealing with people and, trying to help and record videos in the first place. Because back in the day, trials were more, evoke Lakshmi and Titan in the same fight and don't use 16 items. But other than that, the party was fair game. There was no turn limit. You
hmm
could bring who you wanted. So I got into dealing with people, trying to help them get through that because you could take all the time you need and use what you wanted. It was fun.
Yeah.
So trying to come up with stuff like this, I still don't mind doing that for people, but it gets pretty restrictive and it gets kind of hard with the diversity of the MV pool.
Mm.
It gets kind of tough to cater to one person like I used to.
Yeah. Like I did a video a couple days ago, and I realized that I was only missing 24 Neovisions units. And I don't pull that much. Um, so like I can imagine somebody pulling even less than me, like easily not having, 50 or more of them. Like, but now that's only 24 non-collab units.
Right.
I don't have a lot of the collab units. But
No, I
still,
understood what you were getting at.
yeah, like it'd be easy to just be, I mean, just today somebody was like, "Hey, how do you get people to wear swords?" And I was like, "You need Fravia's expertise." I need more of those. I'm like, well, I'm sorry, I have 6 of them. you know, it happens.
Yeah.
I've
And
been
that's what
playing a
this
while.
happened to me because I'm thinking, like let's say you needed indestructible light. I think is what it's
Oh,
called from
yep.
from SOS Lightning.
Mm-hmm.
For a while to me it was like, spread them around your party. I had 4 or 5 of them. But at that time, Lightning wasn't on the rookie panel. She wasn't on any banners. We weren't getting selectable things like we have been. So
Mm-hmm.
not too many people had that many lightnings if they even had one.
Yep, for
So
sure.
that's when it kind of sticks out to you like, oh, I have to remember.
Yeah.
Like I'm using a bunch of stuff that people might not have.
And
It starts to get kind of tough.
when I started really taking that, so I had heard from several people that your guides were really good, and what I really took notice of during the event where we were doing like the crowns for Tifa, and like you were like getting it down like to the barest of bare minimum of like if you have this like random, the you don't have all these random really good TMRs and STMRs and units, like you had it like down to like the barest possible, still working on the turn limit to get it like with the most random janky gear. It was so funny to watch you like, okay, here's an update, here's another update, I figured out another way to remove this. It was just like you really narrowed it down. So I think people, I think that's good for people who really want to understand the game. Maybe not good for people who like have everything and just want to copy it clear, but for people who really want to understand what they're doing, which is what I try to aim at as far as players. um I think that's really helpful. So I'm glad you're sharing that stuff with us.
Yeah, the Tifa crowns was actually a prime example of what goes on behind the scenes. Because even
Mm-hmm.
if I was to just upload the last clear, what what people probably saw to an annoying degree with all those uploads was me uploading something, seeing, hey, I don't have this, and then me trying to figure out if I could do it without, and then hearing another person, okay, well, I don't have this, and I'm just casually taking things away to see what I could finally just get away with and barely make it.
Yeah, which I think is great. So thank you for your effort and your brain. Thank you for joining me on this. We've been talking for almost an hour. I think this is a good place to stop. Anything else you want to throw out there before I let you go?
Um, I can't really think of anything specific. I don't know, try to embrace the creativity of it all. If you're having a hard time, try to think outside the box. Like here, honestly, I would understand if people saw the buffs and tanks were constantly dying. If you didn't want to put up with it after, given the state of the game, how we're used to playing now, I would understand. But if you have this kind of stuff, I would say get out there, break into your inventory, and try to play around, try to make something happen.
I'm definitely
Uh,
planning on taking what I've learned here and putting it to good use and trying to have a higher rank because I don't want to fall under rank 1000. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
if anybody happens to know who I am in Facebook and all of that, and you see me comment on posts, I try to be interactive with people and try to be as friendly as possible. But I swear, if anything comes off kind of rude or anything, I promise you it's unintended. You just don't get context without voice and face.
Oh, absolutely.
But I love working with everybody. So hey, if you hit me up about something, you need to borrow a unit or you want tips or something, if I think I know what I'm talking about, I would be more than willing to work with you on it. So
You are a
other than
scholar and a
that,
gentleman, good sir.
I just hope everybody's enjoying the game, given what we got, and hopefully Gumi will do what they need to do to keep people interested, and we can keep this thing going.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you again for your feedback. I'm going to go get ready for streaming in about an hour and a half. And you guys all be good to each other. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video.
All right, thanks everybody. I'll take care.